Good evening, everybody. Tonight we celebrate artists whose music and message help shape our culture. And together we can change our culture for the better by ending violence against women and girls. Right now, nearly 1 in 5 women in America has been a victim of rape or attempted rape. And more than 1 in 4 women has experienced some form of domestic violence. It's not okay.
With Miranda Kahn, J.D. Hayworth welcoming you back to America's Forum. That, of course, was President Obama during Sunday's Grammy Awards telecast with a public service announcement talking about violence against women.
Yeah, this, as a new study released by the Media Research Center, shows that in 1 week of television shows, over 100 acts of violence against women.
So, when it comes to the war on women, who's really waging one? Here to shed more light on the subject, Dan Gainor, Vice President of Business and Culture at the Media Research Center. So, Dan, you've been evaluating these things. Let's go over the findings that you have from this study.
Well, I mean, what we did, we looked at the top networks, broadcast television, just scripted television. So we're not looking at sports, we're not looking at reality TV, just dramas and comedies. And we found 129 examples of violence against women. And I mean, I'm talking about some things that I found shocking, and that takes some doing. The Originals, which is a CW show, getting a woman getting her head slammed into a table, another woman forced to hold out her hand while someone smashes it with a fire paste poker. Women getting thrown downstairs, shot, hit by cars, kidnapped at gunpoint. It was just a parade of violence ending in 10 deaths. Hollywood says that that they care about violence against women. Yeah, they care about it to make money. That's all they care about.
Do you think that's really it? Because some would argue that they're just trying to draw attention to it and make people aware that it is a problem.
No, what they're trying to do, because the worst shows were a great example of this, they are copycatting pay cable. So when you got Game of Thrones or the show that's now off the air, True Blood, or some of these shows like that, where they have incredibly graphic violence and incredibly graphic sex, that moves first to free cable, what you get with your cable subscription, and then hops over to broadcast. The shows, the Original, the 100, and shows like that are trying to reach a young audience. So to be hip, they are particularly violent. And they're just trying to steal that True Blood aura.
Well, mindful of this, it sounds, Dan, as if Hollywood could take that H in that big kind of billboard of the letters and go vertical with another word. They're almost like a crossword puzzle, as in hypocrisy, because how many action stars have we seen now who are brandishing firearms suddenly come out for gun control? Is that the same thing at work with the creative community for television in Hollywood, and now all these calls for awareness of domestic violence?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think this is feel good. I mean, who's for domestic violence? Nobody. I mean, there are some people who might commit it, but even if you ask them to go on the record, they would come out and say, oh, of course I'm against domestic violence. It's like being for puppies. You're not going to find a lot of public disagreement. But what the reality here is, even you get hundreds of celebrities signing on to these various campaigns against domestic violence, and it all ratcheted up after the Ray Rice video last year. But then you look at what they do. The very same week that you let in with that wonderful Obama PSA from the Grammys, the very same week that appears is the same week where we find 129 acts of violence. The Mentalist, a show that frankly I enjoy, brought on a new character this season, a new woman character, young, attractive, just introduce her, just so they could slaughter her in one episode and traumatize their lead star. We know scientific, you talk.
We're going to, on that sobering note, Dan Gainor, we're going to have to end it. We'll be back with more on America's Forum right after this.